Yes, there's been a team that's been really busy planning all of the details of the event and getting the speakers lined up and promoting the event so that we get a good turnout.
The theme of this year's event, or the theme of the event, is Indigenous Thought and Being.
And I'm just going to start with our name, which is University Nuchelot Ne Thao Nistame Maganek Blue Quills. And my apologies to the fluent Dene and Cree speakers who are listening. When we became a university, we looked at how we wanted to express our identity. And we knew that we needed to honor and acknowledge our ancestors and our languages. And so that became part of our name. It's quite a mouthful, so the short form is UNBQ, or just Blue Quills. And so that expresses the journey that we've been on since 1970, which is to create a learning environment that honors our knowledge, our practice, that is supported and informed by ceremony, by our elders, so that our students have that opportunity to reconnect with identity that was attempted to be taken from them in residential schools. And so the conference is, I guess, carrying that theme forward of how do we think about these things if we think from that place of the teachings of our ancestors, if we think through our language, if we think about our place in the world, our responsibilities. And we can think about all of the things that are happening in the world today from that place of our own knowledge and worldview.
Sherri, when you look at the individuals and the people that are going to be coming to this conference, it's open to all, but you're really trying to get those that are educators, those that are involved in language programs, other academics, researchers. You'd like to see those individuals come on down for the event.
Yes, and the target audience was identified because that's the work that we're engaged in currently, is how do we build that bridge so that our people are equipped with their own identity and the strength of the knowledge of our ancestors to work in the environment that we find ourselves in now as educators, as social workers, as language revitalization specialists. There's so much work being done now, and we take our direction from our elders, and so Eugene Cardinal is here, and he's instrumental in supporting our language programs as well as all of the other programs here at Blue Quills, and helping us stay on track with how do we connect these multiple aspects of our experience. So I'm just going to ask him to talk a little bit about what we do here at Blue Quills and how he sees that responsibility. And I'm going to ask him perhaps to talk in Cree as well, because we want to really encourage people to pick up that language again.
Yeah, okay.
Can I speak Cree?
We would love for you to speak Cree.
Ahan to temtik. Umagawi mamo paya o kotak pisim. Kahkion tumtak. Usam taka o get magoimut. I see no. Yet one humaga pasne. Ketchen go kawap skuit kipik skono. Magatakamemwa istano. Six kamak six oa kokoksnah mageuksnah matugampa. The quim chime tamak. The quim chim namak magipik skono. Egai the one humagak. Menegai we kawap skuit that the pio kiano gakke. Katepesta makiano gagi migoya. Kiano the gistepesta mak. That's one of moi who could wash some snow, kusim no kakio. In Tomata, the period of Mia Hegota. Ni so, Nian and a gimmick sao with that piece. Miniwim Shagachig, Nanato Huispike, Kiste, Mamma Optic, Nian Gishagare, Experiment Nian and a gimmick. Entum takokah kiu kiu pukiteuchki te kui pewitap mia kui pinantohtame ko kisto no te pipahkuina moya ikskesta mauno antum nan kawehum nan gwes minatra kasam nan gwes takohtego aha hey.
Thank you so much there, Mr. Cardinal, for that. Sherri, it's going to be a jam-packed 4 days of discussions. There'll be panel discussions. There's going to be some movies. There's going to be a featured film that will be shown there as well, and a lot of great workshops from individuals from all over, including some great keynote speakers as well.
Yes, and what we've tried to do is invite a diversity of thought to this conference. And so I'll just talk briefly about the keynote speakers. We're very honored to have Dr. Michael Yellowbird, and he's done some incredible work on what he's calling neurodecolonization. And so the relationship between the brain and our experience of colonization and decolonization and finding the pathways there. And so I've had the opportunity to witness some of his presentations by video, so I'm looking forward to having him here at Blue Quills, because that's the path that we're all on, is how do we find our way forward from this experience that we've had in our homelands, including residential schools, government legislations that have interfered with our practice of ceremony and language, and the efforts that are being made now by our people in so many areas to reclaim that pathway, that ceremony, that language, that knowledge. I had an elder talk to me once about these are the things that our ancestors have left beside the trail, and it's up to us to pick them up as we walk this trail. And so he's looking at what are the things along the side of that trail that will help us and help our brains, the programming of our brains, I guess, as we journey. We've also got Dr. Melanie Ruai-Couch from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and they've been leaders in language revitalization globally for quite a long time. And so she's principal at a school that is a language immersion school, and coming to share, and I believe she's bringing some students with her as well, and coming to share what their experience has been so that we can look at that experience and learn from it and see how we might be able to apply that in our own contexts in our schools here. And then Dr. Edna Manitowabi, she's Odawa Ojibwe from Wikwemikong in Manitoulin Island, and she's also the head woman of the eastern doorway of the Three Fires Medewin Lodge. And she's going to talk to us about that understanding of the bundles, the gifts that our ancestors have left us in these bundles, and how we can carry those forward and how they connect to what we do in our current practice, especially in education, university education and research.
In addition to all of that there, Sherri, to wrap things up, there is going to be an Elders Circle that is going to be hosted by Mr. Cardinal.
Correct. And so we're going to invite a number of elders who will have an opportunity, and this is sort of to pull it all together. Mm-hmm. So we're building on this foundation of ancestral knowledge, and so we've invited the elders on Friday morning to reflect on the presentations and the concepts that have been shared throughout the conference, and to offer us some guidance and encouragement in going forward with this work.
And in addition to that, in the evening, there's going to be some time to sort of unwind and have a visit with your fellow coworkers and colleagues that are there for the conference.
Yes, so on the first day, in the evening, we will, because that whole day is about opening ceremonies and our first keynote, and as well as the film that you mentioned. Lana gets her talk, and this film is connected to another one that we have done and has been out there making the rounds. It's called Gently Whispering the Circle Back, and it's also looking at that process of recovering from trauma of residential schools. And so this feature film follows Lana Whiskey Jack, who was in that film, and then it follows her story in a little bit more depth. But that evening, we're going to be having a feast and a ceremony. And so we'll have a pipe ceremony followed by a feast, a traditional feast. So we invite people to bring what we call a feast kit. So bring some dishes to use for the food. On the second evening, there's a hand game tournament. Our people love the contest of hand games. I'm going to get Eugene to talk about that because he's a specialist.
Okay.
All right. I've been playing hand games for at least 40 years, maybe more, and it's a very good game. Originally, it was used to be played roadside in a very quiet manner, and they used to bet all kinds of stuff way back then. There was no money, so they used to bet clothing or axes or even up horses, horse and team, and things like that. It was kind of a game that would eliminate jealousy and, coveting somebody else's properties. Instead, you would play games and perhaps win something that you like that somebody else has, or you offer to trade or to play for something, and that would eliminate animosity created from being jealous over something. So it was kind of like a good game to play. You use it as a game to exchange material goods that you like. If you like somebody's shirt, well, you bet your shirt against their shirt, and if you win, then you win. If you don't, then you don't, and then you don't. It was kind of a peacemaking game to have fun, to enjoy time on the road, and that's still today. Now we play for money, but still, it's still a good game. A lot of music. Children sleep to the music of the hand games. They sleep better, because that's the games of the little people.
Yeah,
and we play it that way.
It's kind of like a little barter system back in the day, eh?
Yes.
And everybody went away happy because it was done fair.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the tournament is for 32 teams.
Yeah.
And the entry fee is $100. There's I think $2,500 in prize money put up as well. The tournament starts at 6 p.m. So you need to be in the room and registered and ready to go before that.
Okay.
That's 2 to 5 players per team.
Yeah.
2 to 5.
Okay. And if let's just say if there's an individual there that would like to be part of a team, they might be able to join a team if they don't have a team of their own?
Yes, certainly. It's open.
Okay.
And just as Eugene was talking about the songs, I remember when I just learned the different rhythm for a hand game song and realized that was a song that my grandfather had sung to me when I was a child.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that song came from hand games until much later in my life.
Wow.
And then on the last evening, on Thursday evening, we have what we're calling Homemade Jam. It's a jamboree featuring some local talent, but it's also an open stage. On this one, we're inviting people to come, but there's a $5 admission if you're not already registered in the conference. So it's open to people who are not registered in the conference, just to come and enjoy some entertainment and good homegrown talent.
And there's always a lot of great talent in the area.
Oh, there is. And that starts at 7 o'clock. So all of these evening events are being held in the gymnasium at Blue Quills. And that's going to be our home base. Some of the workshops and other presentations will be in some of the other smaller spaces on campus.
Sherri, with the conference itself, what are you hoping that participants are going to walk away with after the 4 days are complete?
I hope that they're going to walk away with some new knowledge, that they'll also walk away with some things to think deeply about and how they might incorporate that in their own practice, how they might use that to mobilize initiatives in their own community around education and language and literacy and research and health and well-being, and especially around culture and ceremony, and how that can support all of what it is that we're trying to do. And of course, I hope that they'll walk away having made some, maybe reconnected with people that they haven't seen for a while, and also with new connections and networks, so that we can continue to help and support one another on this journey.
Can people still register for the conference?
Indeed, they can register. They can go to the website, which is www.bqindigenousthoughtconference.ca, or they can just go to our bluequills.ca website, and there's a link there, and then there's information on the poster there, or they can email Ross K, that's ROSSK, at bluequills.ca, or Valerie C at bluequills.ca, or they can do the old-fashioned thing, which is pick up a phone, and it's toll-free. It's 888-645-4455, extension 159.
And there is a cost. There's an entry fee and registration fee for the event itself?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
So it's $200 for the full conference, or people can choose to come just for the day for $75. We do have a special rate for students and elders. It's $100 for the full conference or $25 a day. We're asking for a student ID for that. We also will take e-transfers and credit cards. That can be done over the phone or by email. Ross has all the details on that.
Okay. And it's relatively inexpensive for all that, for the 4 days.
We try to keep it affordable because we want people to have access to this knowledge and to this experience. So we do need to cover costs, but we also wanted to ensure that it was affordable for people.
And Blue Quills is near St. Paul, so people need accommodation. There's not too far for them to stay if they need to be lodged for the nights.
There are a couple of options for accommodation. There are some hotels in St. Paul. I think that we have alerted Canalta Hotel, which is formerly the Super 8 Hotel in St. Paul. There are a few others in St. Paul. Plus, we have dorm rooms available on campus. And again, Ross can give some detailed information on that.
Oh, perfect. We're talking about Blue Quills and the history of the school. Maybe for those who did not know that Blue Quills is the site, formerly a residential school.
It is, and in fact, we're sitting in the sewing room of the old residential school right now. We use this building for offices, boardrooms, classrooms, and the library, and it's served us well since 1970, when the government was going to close all of the residential schools, and closing residential schools wasn't a bad idea, but the parents at the time didn't feel like the alternative was appropriate. They were going to just send all of our students to provincial schools, public schools, and already we had some negative experience there. And so the parents and grandparents got together and said, we'll run this school. And it's their vision and their determination that continues to drive us today. So we became the first Indian-controlled of Indian education school in Canada. And so our journey has been from offering high school programs, or K-12 programs actually, initially, and then very early on branching into post-secondary, where we were hosting or brokering programs from other institutions, and then into the late 80s and 90s, where we started developing our own programs, and now to the point where we're a university. We're offering programs from everywhere from what we would call employment readiness in our Camp Life program, to the certificates, diplomas, and degrees in a variety of fields. We also have a Master's of Indigenous Language and a doctorate program in Inupimatsu and Kiskei-Tamoan.
If anybody wants to get a hold of Blue Quills regarding any of these programs, look into what they have to offer. This might be a route that they want to go. Who can they get in contact with?
They can actually just call our switchboard. We do have a live person on switchboard still. We're one of the old-fashioned organizations. And it's, again, the number is either 780 or 888-645-4455. And if they have a particular program in mind, just ask to talk to the program lead of that program, and they'll be redirected. Or they can go onto the website, www.bluequills.ca, learn a little bit more about the programs, and make contact that way.
All right. I think we've got everything that we need there, Sherri. Is there anything else that you would like to address, or before we wrap things up?
And because we have an opportunity to edit, I'm going to use this time to address that. And that's why I threw the name in there early on in the conversation, Wally, because I noticed that a lot of people, because our name is such a big mouthful, are using Blue Quills University or University of Blue Quills, and we're cautious about that, because if we allow that referencing to us, it will take over our own name.
Okay.
And our own name with our language will get lost in it. So I don't know if there's any way to reword those questions at the beginning. The other thing I'd like to add, hopefully this umming and awing that I'm doing right now will be the point to cut and splice. But when I was talking about our journey to being a university, the other thing that we're quite proud of is that we now hold national and international accreditation through the National Indigenous Accreditation Board and also through the World Indigenous Nations Higher Education Consortium. And so we keep working at growing what we do and growing our connections globally, and seeking that accreditation that acknowledges the quality of the work that we do here.
Wow. Just internationally.
Wow.
No,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, and so we were involved in the establishment of WINHEC, which is the short form, in 2002, when we were one of the institutions that hosted WIPSE, the World Indigenous Peoples Conference on Education. And so we've been involved in the growth of that international organization, and also in the National Indigenous Accreditation Board, and the partnership between the two agencies, so that it offers that opportunity for institutions to hold dual accreditation. And the accreditation process is being streamlined, but we already had our National Indigenous accreditation some years before, and so then just recently, in fact, in September, October, we picked up our international accreditation in New Zealand.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
We say that it's a little bit of a big deal.
It is. Use UNBQ like you had mentioned before?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then
or just Blue Quills by itself.
Just Blue Quills.
Fine as
Okay.
well.
All right. That they could